Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I would like to thank the university management, the session chair, the honorable faculty, and the students for giving me an opportunity to talk on this occasion. Since this event is related to the ICT, I think it is extremely important to talk about fostering ICT excellence in Pakistan. I'll try to limit my note to 15 minutes, so I'll be fast. Please let me know for any questions and answers at the end. My name is Baber Majid Bhatti. My brief profile is in front of you. I've been working in the ICT industry for the past 17 years. Worked in the different locations, in different positions, worked in around 5 continents in the world, in the capacities of ICT strategist, consultant, CTO, CTIO, and CIO. My recent appointments in the chronological order were currently I'm working for a company called Smart Living Technologies in Australia, and we're providing consulting to the South Australian government for their IT strategies and their ICT policies for the future. Before this, I was working for a telecom company in the Middle East called Ericsson as their head of IT planning, strategy, and managed services. In Pakistan, I have worked as senior vice chairman for the Federation of Pakistan Chambers of Commerce and Industry. I got a chance to work in Africa, in National Telecom Corporation, Pakistan as well, for PDCL and some consulting projects which I have delivered around the globe. There are different viewpoints. Now, coming towards, I would like to draw down a scenario when a student graduates from the university. The concerns of fresh ICT graduate, and I'm very much aware of those because I had been one 17 years ago. I was among those, and I've been associated with Pakistan for long. So please let me know if you disagree. But the bigger concerns are those who have good grades. They are hopeful for better employability because of their better grades. Similarly, if you've learned all the books and you've learned the content into it, so if you think you'll perform good in the job, this is a myth as well. Again, there are few students who think they're limited only a few number of jobs in the market. This is not true either. Then many of the people who do not get job opportunities in their first attempt think there is unfair candidate selection out there in the industry. Well, I would like to disagree, and I would say these are all myths. They are not true. Likewise, the industry has concerns as well. The industry thinks that there are plenty of jobs there, but we do not find the right candidate which matches the criteria. It's hard to find someone who can come and deliver the job. We do not agree that the grades are a guarantee to a good job. The grades might matter to some extent in your first job, but it can't matter on the next because it is your repute, it is your professional credibility which you establish in your first job, and it goes on throughout your career. We strongly believe in the industry that how good you are is depicted by how good you've been, and not by your claims that you will be doing good, you can perform good. It's not like that. Similarly, the knowledge gained from the books and in the lab is not sufficient to be a good performer in the job. Let's call it a professional shock. When you go into the industry, you get a professional shock because it is just like a cultural shock. You go to a new culture, you get a cultural shock. Similarly, you go to a new profession and you get a professional shock, because it doesn't happen this way in the industry. What happens in the industry is we need the people who are ready to come, who are ready to perform, who are ready to adapt to the market needs. So this actually means that the challenges for Pakistani ICT resource in the national market are, first of all, the ICT industry is evolving fast. The technologies are coming. There are lots of changes coming so rapidly. So we expect the skills of the professionals, the candidates, to be upgraded to the market technologies. Obviously, an obsolete technologies experience is not good enough. Similarly, the academic ICT curriculums are not adapting at the pace of the industry, because the industry is changing fast. So the universities need to adapt to those demands, and they should change their curriculum, their hands-on experience, so that the students which they produce are skilled enough. Then the fresh graduates, which are coming out from the universities, they are not ready to perform. Before, we have to invest time, effort, money on them, give them trainings, get them coached, give them on-job trainings with sitting with their senior colleagues, and then they can perform. They can't perform before that. So this is a significant barrier which we have when we are recruiting people from the university. Now, where is the gap? The gap is there's a lack of collaboration between the academia and the industry, and this gap needs to be addressed. The other thing is Pakistani ICT resources need to probe the international ICT market more exhaustively. We are not yet reaching as far as our contemporary nations. I can tell you, when I was working in Congo, when I was working in Kabul, when I was working in Baghdad, when I was working in Beirut in Lebanon, when I was working in Singapore. So Pakistani resources are not reaching out there to the extent the other nations are coming. So where is the gap? Why don't we fill it out? So there are actions that we need to do. How to fill this gap? In order to fill out this gap, we need actions to be done by the universities. We need the actions to be done by the industry. The actions are there on the shoulders of ICT students, professionals, and the government has to play a big part as well. So coming to the universities should provide cutting-edge solutions to the industry. You can see the examples like San Jose in San Francisco Bay Area. Stanford University provides solutions to the Silicon Valley, and the Silicon Valley comes back to the Stanford University when they need to research on the cutting-edge technologies. Similarly, the applied part, the applied content of the ICT needs to be enhanced. Theoretical knowledge is not good enough. The curriculums of the university need to adapt to the changing demands of the industry. I'll give you an example. I live here in South Australia, and during the past 12 months, I've been associated with the University of South Australia. I was teaching a course in IT strategy. I have seen they have changed their curriculum so many times during the past 2 semesters. They have introduced new courses. They have merged the old courses. They have phased out the old courses. They have so many faculty members are being upgraded. They're being sent to the industry for professional certifications. We need to do likewise. Then we have the industry as well, who needs to take action. So the industry should seek research excellence from the academia, but I can't bind it on the industry, because the industry needs to produce quality research. They need to deliver to the quantifiable KPIs, which need to be agreed in the legally binding contracts. If the universities do not produce those solutions, obviously the industry will not sponsor the projects. The industries need to provide more applied ICT research outputs. By applied, I mean they need to produce outputs which solve the challenges in the industry. The example is the industry is looking for, let's say, IoT based solutions, so they can't test it out there in the fields. So the university can provide an infrastructure or a simulation where the industry can test their solutions, and then the rigorous testing in the fields can follow. Incubation of startups. This is something what the industry does and is looking at. And then the ICT students and professionals have the responsibility on their shoulders to get themselves upgraded in terms of the skills of what is happening in the market. They need to keep their eyes open, and they need to invest on themselves. They need to work hard to upgrade their skills. Professional certification is a good idea, but it's a good idea just to start. It just gives you a skill, but it doesn't give you context. So for the context, you still need to be in close coordination with what is going on in the market, and what are the problems in your target market. You need to probe the international market well. You need to probe the international market from the perspective of not only finding your jobs, but to see where are the potential opportunities, where are the problems that you can solve. I'll give you an example: Central West Africa. So the fiber optic infrastructure there was quite weak. Like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, they initiated massive projects of fiber optic rollout, and now lots of investments from the West are coming there. So it is a good opportunity to look at. So Central West African market is a place where Pakistani resources are quite scarce. I can recall in Congo, the number of Pakistani resources was hardly 40 or 50 a few years back, so in the entire country, whereas the number of Indian stores is more than 50 there. So you really need to balance out these things. Then there are actions required from the government as well. It's a long debate. I don't want to go into that, but just to enlist those, robust policies are required for fostering ICT. Sorry, there's a typo here, for fostering ICT, and then ICT infrastructure needs to be built so that your businesses can provide quality services, as for example offshore offices. Then resolve visa issues. For example, Pakistani resources are not able to penetrate Kuwait, and this is a big barrier. So it needs to be worked out between the governments, and incubation of setups need to be looked at. Opportunities around the corner. So the students should keep themselves abreast of the latest trends going on in the market. I've just listed a few. For example, IT managed services. Now, I haven't seen any university curriculum giving specialization to the students in managed services, whereas it is a big market. It is like a $500 billion plus market worldwide. Then ICT outsourcing is a big market. IoT, Internet of Things, is the emerging trend. Even the telecom, the data providers are providing IoT-based services, IoT as a service. Our people are not much skilled into this. Then cloud computing, almost every big corporate venture has almost gone into cloud. So it certainly means more skills, more demands, more jobs. Financial mobility solutions is the next wave, especially in Pakistan, which has actually quite lagged entering into financial mobility solutions as compared to the rest of the world. Looking at the international markets, I'll just give you a brief overview. For example, Australia, ICT services in Australia is growing fast, which means more jobs. There is a problem on the visa, the new policies which have emerged, but still the sector in terms of the opportunity is growing. Africa. So especially, as I mentioned, Central West Africa. So ICT infrastructure investments are growing. This means more jobs. North America is a mature market, but the demands are ever growing. They are growing even faster because of new technologies like Google cars, so like flying drones, like ICT solutions, like mobile phone solutions. There are a lot of apps being developed. So new innovation is coming up. So they need fresh brain, fresh blood. South America, countries like Brazil, services are growing. They have infrastructure which is quite mature now in Brazil, but the services need to be built around that. Middle East is a transforming market. There are lots of changes coming, but still the services part of the market is growing. Europe again is passing through a lot of changes. Brexit is triggering lots of opportunities, which actually means lots of people will be leaving UK. So UK will need more and more people from the international market to fill in the demand. That can be looked at. So it's better to look at the target market at the time you will be out there in the market instead of looking at the market now as a student. In the Pacific, financial mobility solutions are at the hike, and more and more solution and consulting providers are focusing there. Looking at the domestic needs of Pakistan, telecoms are undergoing revolution. Mobilink and Wired have merged. Zong is changing the strategies. PTCL is increasing its footprint from the fixed line to data and services providers and ICT infrastructure provider. So telecoms are undergoing revolution, means lots of opportunities. While Mobilink have awarded their managed services to Ericsson, so the international market is getting this competition while we are ourselves capable of doing that. So we should be taking care of it. Then banking is passing through revolution. Consulting is a big industry in Pakistan. Most of the consulting at the strategic management consulting level is provided by the international firms like KPMG and PricewaterhouseCoopers, while our expert consultants can fill out this job. Then e-governance, there is a big trend of e-governance because Pakistan has shown a great progress in this area, and there is much more to be done. ICT infrastructure in terms of the data centers they need to make, in terms of the cloud platform, cloud hosting platforms, they are coming up. So I think you should get yourself honed up into this area. CPEC is the next. They will build a lot of ICT infrastructure now, which is the next step. So it means lots of jobs. Then we need more and more startups to work in this area. I would like to stop here because the lecture can go forever. I would like to invite any questions. Please let me know. And thank you for listening to me. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.